Alright, well, it looks like the conflict, if that's what you want to call it, between me and Blot, or rather Blot and I, is over. He brought it to an end, really, with his video subtitled "The End of Gary." The End of Gary. And in that video, he gave my full name to his audience, my profession to his audience, and basically fucking insulted us, abused us, and tried to turn his entire list of subscribers against us, without, of course, giving them my side of the story, without directing them, of course, to my channel, to where, you know, I could explain everything and point out why Blot is wrong and will always be wrong, and why he's a hypocrite and a walking contradiction. He didn't do that, did he? No. He just gave his side, his bollocks, his lies, his fucking nastiness, and left it at that. Well, that's fair enough, if that's what he wants to do. I mean, it did get to a ridiculous point, didn't it? Because of his refusal to engage, refusal to discuss and debate the points I was making. And that's because he knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong. And he couldn't argue, he couldn't debate, because there was no debate. He was just wrong. So what else could he do but insult and abuse and bully and try to turn his audience against us? Well, he lost, didn't he? He lost because of that. And since then, everybody I've spoke to who was aware of what was going on before has said Blot was out of order, totally out of order for doing what he did in that video. Totally out of order. They've all said it. Everybody, without exception, they've all said he was an arsehole for doing that. But, you know, I'm not bothered. I've not watched the video myself. I've heard about it from quite a number of people. I've heard about it. And I've heard about the comments that were made. I've not read any of them myself. What's the point? You know what I mean? What's the point? These people, these audience members, they don't know what's going on. They're oblivious. They don't know the arguments. They don't know both sides. They've never had my version of events. They've never had my reasoning as to why Blot is wrong to say the things he says. So how can they judge? They're in no position to judge. And they're just fans of Blot, so inevitably they side with him. I would need time with each and every one of them, probably individually, to, you know, to put my view across. But I can't be fucking arsed with that, man. I've not read any of the comments, I've not watched the video. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Blot just, out of desperation, total desperation, did the unforgivable. He did the unforgivable by mentioning my personal details when all I was doing was engaging in a friendly way most of the time, you know. Unless he was being horrible, then I might have been horrible back sometimes, but it was always him that initiated the horribleness. Usually I was friendly, and I just wanted to put across my view that his bigotry was unacceptable, which it is unacceptable, you know what I mean? I'm still right to take that position. I'll always be right in that opposition to bigotry. But, as I say, out of desperation, he turned to his vast audience, his huge fan base, you know, for a helping hand in putting me down, I suppose. And yeah, I suppose that's kind of ended ended things, because I've not had any communication with him since. I've not heard anything about what he's saying on YouTube since, and I'm not bothered. I don't care, because hey, if he's still continuing with the bigotry, then he's still wrong, isn't he? He's still totally wrong, and I'm still totally right. And he's proved that he's wrong by refusing to engage in a rational, civil discussion and refusing to alter his ways. He's proven himself wrong. So, yeah. But, you know, after everything said and done, I will still say this. I don't hate Blot. Despite his horrible fucking behaviour, I don't hate Blot. I would still have a friendly conversation with him. I'm still open to dialogue. I don't want him to suffer in any way. I don't want any harm to come to him. I would never resort to the methods that he's resorted to get my way. I don't want that. I have no massive fan base on YouTube. I'm not trying to encourage my fan base, my tiny insignificant subscriber list. I'm not trying to encourage them to do anything. You know, I've never given his personal details away on YouTube. Why would I? I don't want to win in that way. There's no point. That's just horrible. And as I say, I'm still open to a friendly conversation. Not that it'll ever happen, but you know, I hold no animosity towards Blot. I think what he did was pathetic. I think it was uncalled for, but I don't hate him for it. I see him as, you know, well, if I want to get really deep, he's a victim of capitalism. He's a victim of the ruling class ideas that have been instilled in his brain throughout his life by his rich oppressors, and he can't help it. He could overturn that. He could educate himself. He could become more aware if he listened to people like me, but he won't. And his ego seems to be increasingly off the scale because of all this YouTube attention. So, you know, I don't see that happening in the future. Whoa. Shit in hell. Fucking hell, he came up behind me very fast there. Ooh. I nearly did an O-meter in there, mind. But I resisted. Blot could resist as well, but he won't. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Gonna be busy. Ta-ra.